Shiva is the destroyer. However, he is also the Holy Spirit. And we think of Shiva as he in the East, even as now we understand the Holy Spirit as she in the West. Being the destroyer and the Holy Spirit, we understand that the action of destruction is really not the complete annihilation of everything, because through science we understand that matter can neither be destroyed nor created by humans, although it can be created and destroyed in a sense by the divine. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Destruction is really transmutation, Shiva says. Transforming something from one state into another. And we find in nature, which is the outpicturing of the Divine Mother, as well as spirit within matter, many forms of transmutation that are really miraculous and are actually part of what Shiva is involved in this process that we term destruction, which is transmutation. We have evaporation, a transformation of water into water vapor. We have transpiration, where plants take up water from the earth and it evaporates from the stems and branches and leaves. And this is an amazing alchemical process when we think about it, and helps us in our lives as human beings. We have photosynthesis, the transformation of light into glucose within the plants through an amazing alchemical process. One of the most magical, mystical, and miraculous manifestations of how spiritual light, which is like spiritual fire, is transformed into physical substance. Manifest through the beautiful plants, trees, shrubs, bushes, etc. we find in nature. And we have a type of photosynthesis that happens within us as we gaze upon the sun and absorb the light through our eyes, stimulates the pineal, pituitary, and actually we can learn to live on light if we choose to engage in this type of human photosynthesis. We have the amazing alchemy of the dissolution within solutions of matter as physical substance, the dissolving of salt within water. And this is a type of transmutation, and really what Shiva is invested in within the water element. We have absorption, we have fusion, we have fission, we have the transfiguration of ourselves from a being of more earthy manifestation into basically light. Transfiguration. Jesus was transfigured on the mount witnessed by disciples above and below. And we are invested in this type of the sublimation of our being into the divine, an apotheosis of the human into the godlike. All of these sacred processes are really facilitated by Shiva, the Holy Spirit, and are indicative of the miracle manifestation of his beingness as the destroyer, which we now understand more in terms of transmuting. And of course, what greater transmutation occurs than through the fire, the alchemical fire of the violet flame, which transmutes darkness into light, transmutes what is no longer usable or beneficial into what can be utilized as light energy, virtue, beingness. So when we really study nature, we are studying the essence of Shiva, manifest as the love aspect of God, the love aspect of the Trinity in manifestation within the body of the Divine Mother, really the fourth aspect of God, where God is geometrized within the matter planes as the substance of materiality as we experience it in this dimension and plane. To really meditate upon all of these different manifestations of transmutation, seeing them in nature and then also experiencing them within ourselves, we gain value in understanding God's processes and the dynamics of creation, the sustaining of the creation, and the dissolution or destruction of the creation, and of the cyclic nature of beingness as all of these processes manifest and occur. And of course, we desire to be fused into God, our soul entering into perfectionment within our I Am presence as we are absorbed or subsumed into divine beingness. So as we witness these processes in nature and we meditate upon the sublimity of God within the natural order, we correlate these processes internally to see how we too can participate naturally in the evolution of our beings into divine beings. We go back to our origin in divinity. We see how we have been involved or gone through involution within the matter planes, and now how we are evolving back into spirit through love and through all of these transmutative processes that are ongoing. Every day, something is being transmuted within us. Even the food that we take in and the digestive processes. The miracle of digestion within us is a form of transmutation, changing an apple into a more liquid state, becoming part of our blood, and then becoming part of our cells, and the waste matter removed. In fact, if we look at our lives, everything that we experience is a type of transmutation. Our breathing, the beating of our heart, all the internal processes physically, and then we relate these to the emotional, mental, and spiritual aspects of our life. And we see how we are a part of Shiva, and Shiva is a part of us. Shiva is invested in the ultimate act of transmutation, which is our yoga or union with God. And when, through our prayers, our meditations, our spiritual practices, living in the now, as we just experienced this beautiful teaching by Eckhart Tolle in our rosary today, we understand that life is wonderful. Life is God. God is life. God is our life. And we are a part of that life. We are a part of God. And it is all magical, miraculous, and mystical. When are we the mist and when are we the crystal? Are we in the process of being crystallized into the divine estate of our true beingness in God? Or are we becoming more mist in our mystical union with God, becoming more spirit? Maybe both processes are happening, and maybe within the spirit world, as we see the masters as these crystal beings, they are still very misty or ethereal. And so we see the crystal within the mist and the mystical within the crystal. The universe is a divine solution of light and beingness. And when we participate in the alchemy of life itself as this divine solution of light beingness, crystal light beingness, we flash forth the brilliance of our beingness in God. And God flashes forth the beautiful manifestations of His, her beingness through us. And it is an amazing transmission of virtue and love and light every moment that we experience God within self. And our self is a part of God. So when you are in nature and you meditate and observe and are still and under the silence of the mystical processes of what God is continuing to manifest through what God created in our natural world, consider all of these alchemical manifestations and of how the elementals are involved and the nature spirits and the devas and the angels and the masterful beings, and even in the microcosmic worlds, the worms and the ants and the tiny bugs, and of how they're all part of this. And it's just amazing. And when you see butterflies and any creature whatsoever engaged in their life, realizing that they are part of the Holy Spirit, a part of Shiva, and Shiva lives, moves, and has His being within them, you see how we are all connected and all one, and how there is no disassociation. There is only union and oneness and the unity field of beingness. It truly is a blessing to be alive and to allow the Holy Spirit to move through us and participate in the alchemy of our own apotheosis, our own ascension, our own sublimation and subsumation into the divine. And when we can be sensitive to all of this and feel that we are being subsumed into God more and more each day, that we are dissolving the lesser self into the great God self, that we are allowing the transpiration within us of our water element into the ethereal water of our oneness with the Divine Mother. That we are evaporating into something great and noble and full of divine character and majesty. And that we are photosynthesizing the light within us and glorifying God as that light becomes something very tangible in our lives. I pray that all of us will understand more of who we are, will realize our true nature, will find our purpose for why we are here, and that we will make this world sublime. With Longfellow and the great masters who have gone before us, we choose to make our lives sublime. In his words, so I thank the Holy Spirit for being invested in our movement, in our community, in our family of heart friends, because with the Holy Spirit we will move forward into the new day with great joy and levity and care and understanding and sensitivity toward one another and toward all life. We will no longer judge, analyze from the human, gossip, and contend with one another from a mental state of trying to one-up or convert someone's opinion about this or that situation or whatever that is not really the way of the Holy Spirit, the way of Spirit. The greatest conversion manifests through transmutation. And the process is internal within us if we choose to help others. Yet what is helping others? All it is offering our hands, our head, and our heart so that they can find the God within them. And it's not necessarily training them to believe this or that or converting them to this opinion about what a belief system they should accept. It's just being love, being respectful, being honorable, and being true and authentic. And shining our light, we highlight the way, the truth, and the life of the Christ, the Buddha, the Divine Mother in our lives. This is how we will witness to the Ascended Master truths and wisdom teaching, how we will share what we do to ennoble every individual, to inspire them to be the best that they can be, to be God-like, and to be true to themselves. I remember my first dictation through the summit was the Mahachohan, who is the representative of the Holy Spirit. And I think that it was destined that that be my first introduction through a live dictation, the Ascended Masters through that dispensation, because I knew in my heart that part of my mission was to also represent the Holy Spirit through my life, and that wherever life would take me, whatever my mission would be, it had to be about love, the third aspect of the Trinity, and it had to be about community, fellowship, heart friends, oneness, levity, joy, and all of these aspects of the destroyer, which I now understand at a deeper level. Because it's really not about killing, maiming, destroying in a black art sense. It's all about love and the transmutation of love that allows for us to reunite with our source, our beloved God presence, the great I am that I am. So thank you for being a part of this alchemy of our Heart Center community, and of how you creatively, uniquely, majestically, and beautifully render your service, your spiritual touch to this equation of the symphonic release of light, sound, color, movement, voice, mantra, and spiritual fire through our collective work. It's really an honor to serve with you, to be with you, to love you, and to feel that oneness every time we come together. And it's a privilege to be here today in our Sanctuary of the Heart with my loved ones. And those of you on the broadcast who I love. Thank you.